Hey guys! Oh wait, camera's up here. Hey guys, I'm looking at my laptop down there and my camera up here. So yeah, I'm gonna turn this because I'm gonna continuously be looking at it tonight. So hopefully it doesn't mess me up and cause all kinds of issues. But anyway, we're gonna start class in a minute. I'm gonna leave this up here so that you all can see kind of what we need. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. Huh. We're gonna start now. Look at that. Good timing. Good timing. Good times, good times. All right, well, welcome everybody. If you are new, my name is Jessica. My name is Jessica, even if you're not new. But I am the teacher, and this is yoga for beginners. So I teach specifically beginner yoga, but I also teach intermediate through advanced. So if you are an intermediate through advanced student, I will be giving the beginner modifications for most things, but you know your body, you know your practice, and if you want to take it to the next level or do something funky and fancy while we're doing it, nobody can see, but just be careful. If I could watch you, I would, but I can't. So I'm trusting you to be on your best behavior and not knock yourself out or injure yourself. Those of you who are new to yoga, or are just starting out on your yoga journey, this practice is meant to help your body. So if you are here trying to push yourself and regardless of the cost to your body, then I urge you to turn this off and just maybe go sit and relax for a little while. But I just really want everybody to listen to their body. That's what I'm saying. For tonight's practice, you are going to need yoga blocks. And if you don't have yoga blocks, you can use books or just like anything big, like a big chunky book, something like that. And if you don't even have books, you can use a blanket or like a towel rolled up. And it's just something that's going to give you a little bit of cushion. Tonight's class, we're not going to do a whole lot of standing. We're going to do a lot of floor things. So you are going to also need a blanket. If you don't have one, go grab one really quickly. And yeah, so I'll just wait a minute before I really give any of the really important instructions so I can make sure that everybody's got everything that they need. There's a lot of dog hair in here. Sorry, it drives me crazy. I guess I don't see it until I'm down here, and then I'm like, oh wait, I have dogs. Yeah, they get hair everywhere. And cats with hair and birds with feathers, Anyway, enough about that. Let's get into practice tonight. So before we get into practice, I want to talk about what we're going to be doing tonight. I am going to be, at the request of lots of people, doing a class that is going to include core, and it is going to be for lower back pain. So I hear this more often than anything. Anytime you go to a yoga class, you're going to hear people complaining about lower back pain, even if you're not in a yoga class. Most of us have experienced lower back pain or are experiencing it now. And to say, oh, I need yoga for lower back pain is like saying, trying to think of a good metaphor, but there's really not one. Yoga can help alleviate back pain, but you have to identify what your back pain is first. So your back pain could be from something like sciatica, it could be from tight hips, it could be from tight hamstrings, it could be from a back injury, it could be from scoliosis, it could be from spinal stenosis, it could be from a slip disc, a herniated disc, a ruptured disc. It could be from a back fusion or from a spinal fusion. It could be from tightness of the muscles that line the spine, and it could also be from a really, really weak core. All of these require different things to alleviate that pain. So you have to identify what your issue is that you're dealing with before you identify how to fix it. If you have spinal stenosis, I'm going to say this right now, if you have it, you know that you have it because you've been told you have it. You want to avoid back bends. They're very, very bad for your back. If you have scoliosis, twisting in the direction where your convex turn is, your convex curvature of your spine is going to be super easy, but twisting in the other direction is going to be really, really next to impossible. If you've got a slip disc or a ruptured disc, there's a lot of things that you shouldn't do, and I'm going to go into those things in the practice. So when I say that these are the slip disc no-nos, I'm talking to you guys, because there's a lot of things in yoga that are taught that are actually damaging our back more than helping our back. So tonight we are going to take it slow. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it means you're going to have to think and listen to your body. So with that being said, let's get started. We're going to begin lying. Actually, no, I lied. We're not going to begin lying on our backs. We are going to begin on our hands and knees. So right now, you won't need any of your props. We're just going to come to a tabletop position. Hands underneath of the shoulders and knees underneath of the hips. Really fan your fingers out nice and wide, and you want to create a nice stable base for your position here. You're going to be engaging what's called Hasta Bandha, which means hand lock. So when you put your hands on the ground, it's really, really important that you're not pressing down right here into your wrists. You're pressing into your fingertips, and you're kind of clawing your fingers back like you're trying to grip the earth. And then you're going to see how, I'm going to show you from the front. See how your elbows turn here? They've got some wiggle room. I want you to turn your elbows like your elbows are, like these are the eyes of the elbows, and I want you to turn them to face the front. When you do that, you're going to be turning on the strongest parts of your back. So we really want to engage those muscles to help to strengthen our bodies and incorporate some alleviation to the pain in the spine. So turn the fingers forward and pull the belly in tight. So my go-to here is just kind of flop. So I need to really pull my stomach in, pull the core in like you're drawing your navel to your spine, and then there's another step here. You're gonna then feel like you're pulling your belly button up underneath of your rib cage. This is what's called Uddiyana Bandha. That is the abdominal lock. So we're going to use that here. Really want you to get used to that. And we're also going to use what is called Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha is where you're pulling your perineal muscles in really tight. So your bathroom muscles, you're squeezing them all like you're trying to shut off you're trying to stop a poop and stop a pee at the same time. There's really no other way to say it. So all of your muscles are really intensely engaged here. And you're going to just breathe like that. Now we keep our bodies like this for most of our yoga practice. There are times when we do release the bandhas, the Uddiyana Bandha and the Mula Bandha, but we engage them for most of the practice. So you see how difficult it is and how much thought it is right now, just sitting just here like this while we're not moving. We're going to do it while we move too. Okay, so we're going to come into our cat-cow position. You'll inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the crown of the head. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. So in other words, I don't want you to throw your head back here. Imagine the crown of your head from your tailbone is all one long line. So your head is actually a continuation of your spine. And you don't want it to be cranked like this. You want it to be a nice gradual arc of your back. This is our cow pose. This is an anterior pelvic tilt of the spine. As you exhale, you're going to pull the belly in, look down towards your knees, the crown of the head. Imagine you've got a unicorn horn. You're going to point it right out in front of your fingertips on the mat. Tuck the tailbone under and feel like you're pressing the floor away from you. This is a posterior pelvic tilt of the pelvis. We don't do this a lot, and I don't want you to do this and many other things besides this pose. Inhale, arch the back, cow pose, interior pelvic tilt. I use these terms a lot. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin, look down, cat pose, posterior pelvic tilt. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, round and lift. Exhale, round and tuck. Good. Do this one or two more times. And then exhale, come back to center. Now we'll take our knees out wide. Untuck your toes at the top, point them. Press the hips back. We're coming into child's pose. Now, if child's pose is uncomfortable for you because you've got tight hips, tight knees, tight hamstrings, whatever, put something underneath of your butt so that it's going to lift you up. You put it underneath your pelvis. You can roll it up and put it underneath of your thighs So it kind of keeps your knees from having to bend so much. Or you can place something underneath of your belly to give you support. A lot of people have really tight quadriceps, especially men. If you are a man, you have an extra layer of muscle, and extra muscle becomes extra tight. So it's not a bad thing to not be flexible. It just means you've got more muscle in there and you got to stretch it out. So be easy with yourself. Use props. Props are not for beginners. Props are for everybody. So just relax. Now, if your head touches the ground, just let it touch the ground and just feel yourself relaxing here. Maybe roll your head side to side on your forehead. And just breathe here. I'm gonna just move my mic off of me because I realize it's probably sounding really, really funky. Stretch your fingertips out in front of you, lengthen all the way from the fingertips to your hips. So imagine here that you are trying to stretch yourself as long as possible. And then we're gonna come back up into our tabletop position. And I'm going to just leave this here for a little while. Sorry about mic issues, guys. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out with the live videos. Okay, so here we're gonna come into a spinal twist. So want your knees out a little bit wider than hip width distance, and I want you to feel like you're really keeping your shoulders square. So if I were to place this block, not your shoulders, your hips, if I was to place this block on my hips, I don't want to tip the block to the side and make it drop. So I want you to think about this. Your hips are going to stay squared, and you're going to take your left arm, reach it up toward the sky, and exhale as you bring that left shoulder underneath of you. Turn your head to the right as you drop onto the left shoulder and the left cheek. Reach your right arm out in front of you. So the reason I'm having you guys keep your hips straight is another really bad issue that causes a lot of back pain is your sacroiliac joint, your SI joint. I'm sure that you've probably heard that. When you are twisting and forward folding, so you're bending at your hips here and you're twisting, that causes that joint to come out of place. I know that because I experience that pain quite often. And keeping the hips anchored and level is one of the best ways to alleviate that and to prevent that from happening. So reach here. Now, if you are more advanced in your practice, you can take your right arm, reach it up toward the ceiling, and even wrap it behind you. Look up towards the ceiling. So when you're twisting from your navel up. The lower part of the spine is not meant to twist very much, so you want to keep that, your lumbar spine, you want to keep that kind of straight. So when you're twisting, pull the core in and twist from the navel up. And then exhale, bring it down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Coming back into our tabletop, and keep your knees out a little bit wider than hip width. Take the right arm, reach it up toward the ceiling, and then exhale, slide it underneath of the left side of the body, coming onto your right cheek and your right shoulder. Keep the hips nice and squared. And if you want, you can take your left arm, reach it up toward the sky. Feel the belly pulling into the spine, twisting from the navel up. And just breathe here, 1 or 2 more breaths. Exhale, bring the hand down, come out. And if you're weird like me and you have the block on top of your butt, take the block off. And we're gonna come into downward facing dog. Press into the hands, fingertips clawing back, tuck the toes under, lift up and back. And you're going to really want to focus on having your, sorry, I'm gonna adjust my mic here, guys, because I'm moving. Sorry. Okay, So you really want to think about here, a nice long neck, a nice long spine, and remember that anterior pelvic tilt of your spine that we did here in our cow pose. You want to do that with your downward facing dog. If you find that your downward facing dog looks more like this, then you want to bend your knees, stick your tailbone up, and feel like you're pressing the mat forward. So this is going to press your hips and back up. I want a long straight line from your fingertips all the way down to, or all the way up to your hips. It does not matter if your heels are on the ground, and it does not matter if your knees are straight. Straight back is all that's important. Now another thing here, I want you to remember those eyes of your elbows, turn them forward. So this is gonna feel like you're kind of dropping your head down and you're squeezing your shoulders down your back. And that's good, that's what I want from you. Claw your fingertips into the ground and breathe here. Now if you're getting a lot of wrist pain, you can even take your blanket and place it underneath of your hands. And just breathe here for a moment. All right, start to look forward, bend the knees. And I think my room has been infiltrated by dogs. So start to bend the knees as you come to a forward fold and grab opposite elbows. So you really want to keep an anterior pelvic tilt in your spine here as well. It sounds weird, and most people, when they come into their forward fold, look like this. They're doing some type of rounding of the spine, tucking the tailbone under, and this is really, really bad for your back. So this is really going to be one of those no-no positions if you've got disc issues. So bend your knees, tilt your tailbone up, drop your head, grab opposite elbows. You stay there, I'm going to dispose of this dog. Sorry about that. This is what happens when you go live. It's bedlam. It's mayhem. All right. And then we're going to start to come up from your forward fold. But before you do, you're going to place your hands on your shins. Look forward and lengthen through your spine. So if you're up here to keep your back flat, that's fine too. I want your back flat. That's all I want here. Once that's happening, pull the belly in. So belly button goes back towards the spine and then up into your rib cage. Take your arms out wide, look up, press into the feet, bend the knees, and come all the way up to the flat back, bringing your arms up overhead, palms together, lift the hands up, and then exhale, hands start center. Great. All right, so that was a lot of talking. We're just gonna move for a little bit. So feet hip width distance apart, about 2 fists width. Take your arms, reach them up toward the sky. Make a bracelet around your left hand with your right hand, and your left wrist with your right hand, and reach it up and over. Just be relaxed with the head, kind of let it drop down. Then inhale, come up, switch sides, bracelet around your right wrist with your left hand, reach it up and over. Let your head relax here. Keep rolling the top shoulder up and back. Inhale, reach up. Good. Now we're going to do the same thing over to the other side. So you're going to make that bracelet around your left wrist with your right hand again. Reach it up and then reach over. You can stay here, or you can take the right hand down to your side and reach the left arm up and over. If you want it a little bit more intense, take the left foot, cross it over in front of your left leg, your right leg, and it gives you a little bit of a balance challenge, and it really, really stretches out the left obliques. Pull the belly in nice and tight here. Inhale, come up. Exhale, switch sides. So bracelet around the right wrist, reach it up and over. And if you want, drop the left arm and cross the right leg in front of the left. So you'll find a lot of times we can go deeper into a pose if we start to take out the integrity of the alignment of the pose. But keeping the alignment of the pose usually draws us a little bit out of the pose. So we feel kind of less advanced. We feel like we're not doing as much. But trust me, that's where you want to be. Take yourself out of the pose until you feel comfortable there, until you have correct alignment. Come up and shake the legs out. And we're just going to do a sun salutation. So standing at the front of your mat, remove any things that you have there. Feet hip width distance apart. If you're a male, bring the feet together. If you're a female, keep the feet hip width distance apart. And then inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward, diving through heart center. Bend the knees, keep the tailbone sticking up, drop the head, reach the arms down. Inhale, lift halfway. So if you've got a flexible set of hamstrings and you can keep your back flat with your hands on the floor, stay here. Keep your belly pulled in tight. If you are not able to do this, hands are going to be on the shins or on the thighs. This is not halfway lift. This is just reaching for the feet. Bend the knees, stick the butt out, place the hands up as high as you need to keep the back flat. Exhale, fold forward, and we're going to step back into a plank. Drop down to your knees first. Tuck the tailbone here. So you have a posterior pelvic tilt of your tailbone. You do not want your butt sticking out here. In a plank, this is building core strength. From here, lower halfway. Even if you can do a regular plank and a regular chaturanga, just lower halfway on your knees. Point your toes without going down any further. Look forward, pull the chest forward, lift the kneecaps, and we are in upward facing dog. Tuck the tails, tuck the toes under, and then lift up to downward facing dog. I'm having a really hard time getting my words out tonight, guys. I don't know what the heck is wrong with me. Inhale, look forward, bend the knees, walk the feet up to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Bring your palms together overhead. Good. All right, so just hang out there, guys. I'm really sorry I'm like having some issues, so we're just gonna do this. You know, it's time to take the tops off. Everybody take your shirts off. Yay! That makes me think of a teacher that I had that said, we were doing a pose and she said, ticks to the wind. Anyway, I digress. Let's come back to our practice. Arms reaching up high. Exhale, fold forward. Knees bent. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward, step back, plank. This time you can be on your knees or off of your knees if you're more advanced in your practice. Fingers out wide, press into your fingertips. Claw the fingers into the earth. Reach forward like you're trying to press your head towards the wall in front of you. Lower down halfway. Inhale, point the toes. Pull the heart forward, upward facing dog. Now you can do all of this with your knees on the ground. So don't complain, oh, this hurts, I can't do this, if your knees are off the ground. Put them on the ground. Tuck the toes. Lift up, downward facing dog. See, that's much better with the microphone, isn't it, guys? That's why I had to take my shirt off. The things I do. Okay, inhale, reach your right leg high. Exhale, put it down. Inhale, reach your left leg high. Exhale, put it down. Drop down to your knees. All right, so hands underneath of the shoulders, and we're going to extend the left leg out behind you. Tuck the toes under, and then press the heel back and forward, back and forward. Pull the belly in, don't let the belly sag. All right, so come back to neutral, and we're going to turn, kick the right leg out behind you as you take your left arm up toward the sky for a modified side plank. Now, if you have it in your practice, take the right leg off of the ground. You can have your legs scissored like this, or you can have them stacked. Now, at another level of difficulty, even if your knee is on the ground, take the arm overhead. So you're really, really stretching and opening up the left side body. Press into the fingertips. Try not to press into the wrist. Take the arm, reach it back up. And another level, if you want, lift the leg. Now if you're on the, ooh, don't kick a table. If you're on the ground, it's just gonna look like this. And then exhale. We're gonna turn and do it from the other direction. Now you guys are gonna look at my back here. So you're gonna kick the left leg out to the side, and you're gonna extend the right arm up to the sky. So I want you to look at, for a second, my shoulders as I'm doing this. See how my shoulders kind of move open and closed? So I want them to be really open. So you're still reaching your shoulders really far away from each other. I don't want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together here. Reach them away from each other. See how much that changes this position? So keep lengthening out through here. If you guys can't see it, it's the difference between here and here, here and here. All right, so we're in our modified side plank. You can lift that back leg. You can stack your feet. Now we're gonna take the top arm, reach it overhead. Really great stretch on the right side body. Press into the fingertips. Pull the belly in, press the floor away, and then we're gonna extend the right leg up. Good, bring the leg down, and then we're gonna come back down, hands and knees, child's pose. Knees out wide, stretch the hips back, stretch your arms forward. Let your head come down. If you need your props underneath of you, place your props underneath of you. Just let that be your go-to for whenever you come into this pose. And by the way, you can drop into this pose at any time. There's no need to have to hurt yourself or injure yourself just for the sake of keeping going. All right, look forward, come up, hands and knees. One more time. Okay, so we're gonna come down onto our elbows. Your elbows can be in a fist. Yeah, let's do that because it's actually gonna be easier on your wrist right now. And then you're gonna take your right leg straight back, and then your left leg straight back. Now, round your spine here, tuck your tailbone under. So I want you to really squeeze your butt muscles really tight here for this position. Now you can bring your knees onto the ground and keep the same integrity of the pose, but if you bring your knees onto the ground, don't lift your butt up and back. This is an anterior pelvic tilt like we were doing in cow pose. This is a posterior pelvic tilt like we did in cat pose. So I want your back to be kind of rounded here. This is one of the only times that I'm going to ask you to do this with your back. We don't do this a lot for a reason. But when we do this, it turns on your core muscles. So when we're in a plank, you want to have your core muscles turned on. So be wherever you need to be and breathe. Focus on your breath. And then drop to your knees. Back into child's pose. Good, and then start to come up. All right, so we're gonna scoot our legs out in front of us. And grab a blanket. So if you are experiencing back pain, I want you to place your blanket right at your lower back. So it's kind of supporting you. It's like a butt pillow. We come into our boat pose, but because we're going to be here for a little while, I want you to take a modification that's not going to damage your back. So what I don't want you to do when we're in this pose is round your spine. This is really, really bad. I'd rather you not do this at all if this is what's happening. Keep the back straight. Lift the chest like you're like, oh. You make that noise. Make you feel good. Make you feel like you're like an angel, right? Anyway, feet are going to start on the ground. Hands are going to start underneath of the knees. Now, if you're a rock star, let's just go into whatever modification you want. But for the rest of us, we're going to pull the belly in nice and tight and breathe. Just start here. If you want, lift the heels off of the ground. Keep looking towards the top of the wall in front of you. And then if you want to lift your legs up, I had to scoot my pillow back a little bit because I'm leaning back a little bit more. So you can lift your legs up and still hold on to your thighs. pull the belly in. So cool, we're still getting a really great workout here. If you're feeling good, you're gonna straighten your arms, straighten your arms. Now remember, we're gonna be here for a little bit. So I'm gonna just grab the back of my thighs. So I recently had abdominal surgery, so I'm not gonna push myself and do something dumb like, yeah, I got this, I'm on film, I wanna show everybody I can do it, because that's gonna really hurt my back. So I'm just gonna keep my hands here. So you guys are probably like, are we doing something else? Did she forget? No, we're staying here. Strengthening your core is a huge part of getting rid of back pain. Now, if this hurts, bring your feet down. Take yourself out of the pose a little bit until you feel like you can breathe. Good. So I'm just going to take this out. Now I'm going to take my hands out here, and we're just going to open all the way and then come back up. Open all the way and then come back up. Open all the way, come back up. Now, if this is too much on your back, just stay right here, and I'm going to give you this modification. You're going to just take your legs and go straight and back, straight and back, straight and back. If that's too much, just take your feet to the ground, go back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. We're just going to hold it here for another couple breaths. And if you are doing the open and lift, we have 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Good. Everybody come to a seated position. If it's hard for you to sit, place a block underneath of your hips or sit up against a wall. And give yourself a break. We're just going to, I'm going to show you from the front. So seated here, you're going to take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and the right hand behind you. Keep the belly in nice and tight. Keep the hips squared. Look over the right shoulder. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, twist to the other side. Come back to center. Reach your arms up. Give them a nice stretch. And then we're going to take the block out from underneath of us and come back onto our seat. That was just a nice little intermission there. So from here, roll down onto your back. Extend your legs straight up toward the sky and reach your hands up towards your feet. Good. So I want you to feel like you're pressing your heels up toward the sky. Now, if this is really hard, guys, and it's a struggle for you to keep your legs up like this, I want you to come up to a wall and just place your heels on a wall, just like this. You're going to reach your legs up, and then we're going to reach your arms up, and then we're going to reach, reach, reach. Now, if you have neck pain while you're doing this, just take your hands and bring them to the nape of your neck. Keep your elbows out as you lift. Make sure you breathe. Exhale, 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 exhale. Five more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Hug your knees into your chest. Core is my least favorite thing to do, so it's really a struggle to do it and then make other people do it. So, but you guys are doing great sticking with me here. Okay, so now we're going to do that same thing again, but we're going to change the focus of the lift. Now, if you are one of the people that has your feet up against the wall, just take your feet down to the ground and arms down by your sides. There's going to be 2 modifications. So if your feet are on the ground, you're just going to tuck your tailbone. Tuck, tuck, tuck. For the rest of us, our feet are going to be up, and we're going to lift, lift, lift. So breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Hug your knees into your chest. It's really fun when your back makes fart noises on your yoga mat because you're sweaty. So that's really something that makes it even more interesting when you're doing core. All right. So now we're going to take the legs up again, and then you're going to open the legs out wide. So if your feet up against the wall, put your feet up against the wall. You're going to take your arms, reach them up, and then forward in between the legs. Now, if your feet are against the wall and you don't have much room to do this, just reach up towards, like you're trying to reach in between your heels. Okay, so tuck the tailbone under, hold it here, and hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, bring your feet together and down. Okay. Knees come in, give yourself a squeeze, legs up, open the legs out wide. We're gonna reach our arms in again. And this time we're gonna pulse the upper body. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Hug your knees into your chest. And then rock yourself up to a seat. Okay. We have one more core exercise, you guys. One more. You can do this. So this is going to involve a lot of breathing. Your breathing is going to sound like make sure you're breathing in and pushing the breath out. So we're going to take our hands behind our knees, and then our feet are going to come up. So everybody's going to do this. Even if you're able to come here, I want you to do this. Light hands behind your knees. And you're going to pull the belly in as you exhale and release as you inhale. So it's going to look like this. Ready? We've got 20 more. Good. Hug your knees into your chest. Up to a seat. Good. Good, 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 good. All right. We're going to come into our bound angle pose. So knees are going to go out wide. You're going to grab the soles of the feet. Or if you can't grab the soles of the feet, just grab onto your ankles or your knees or whatever. You can also sit on a block if it's really impossible for you to keep your back straight here. So I'm going to harp on this. Anytime you are seated, you want your back straight. If your back is not straight and you're sitting down, you're putting your spine in a compromising position. So make sure you do whatever you can to keep your back straight. If this still isn't enough, sitting on a block to keep your back straight, go up against a wall and lean against that. Your wall is your friend. It's there to support you. All right, so I'm just going to stay here. Open the feet. If you're able to grab on the feet, I want you to open your feet like you're opening the pages of a book. Pull the belly in, lift the heart, and just lean forward a little bit. It doesn't have to be a really far, forward fold here. I want your back straight. So you're not coming down here and smelling your toes. That's a totally different pose. But you're pulling your heart forward and looking out about 5-6 feet in front of you. Nice long spine. And breathe. You can close your eyes here if you want. Now, if it's really uncomfortable and you don't feel good in this pose, then get up against a wall or sit on a block or do both. Yoga is about feeling better, not about forcing yourself to do something that doesn't feel good. You ease your way into each pose. Good, and we're gonna come up. All right, so we're gonna stretch out our hamstrings here. And if you have a strap, grab onto your strap. And if you don't have a strap, you can use, just like I said last week, or if you've seen in any of my videos, you can use a scarf or a belt or a dog leash or anything that's going to connect you from one point to the other. So We're gonna start off reaching for our feet. Now, this is what I see 9 times out of 10, especially men. You guys are the worst with this because you typically have tight hamstrings. I'm talking to you. All right, so you're gonna flex your feet, no loosey-goosey feet. Flex your feet. Sometimes this is enough. If this is enough right here, take a block and place it underneath of your legs. If this is too much, take a block and place it underneath of your butt. You can be lifted up. The higher your hips, the easier this is for your hamstrings. Okay, so easy doesn't mean beginner, it just means smart. Okay, so just be smart about it. Keep your back straight. Reach forward towards your toes. If your hands reach your toes, pull the chest forward and keep looking forward. You're looking past your toes here. I want you to think about having that anterior pelvic tilt when you are in this forward fold. So stay here, just like this, but I want your back like this, not like this. So do what you have to do to stick your butt out behind you. And guys, I know this is all really confusing, so if you have questions, please post it in the comments. And after class, I will be more than happy to contact you and we can discuss it. Okay, so if you can reach the feet, that's great. If not, take the strap, place it around the feet, and look forward. Reaching your arms forward. You're not pulling your arms back. Reach your arms forward. So guys, one of the reasons that I am such a stickler about this pose and doing it the right way is that you're adding pounds of pressure onto each vertebrae when you are pulling your back forward. So if you've got any type of disc issues, they usually hide in like the lower part of your spine, you're pushing that disc in your vertebrae out that direction. So once you start to bend that way and round your back, and then you start to pull forward, you start to push and pull those vertebrae apart so the disc has nowhere to go but back. And so you are creating a really, really harmful position for your spine. So you really want to make sure that you are not pulling forward with your back rounded like this. I can't stress that enough. But I do want you to stretch your hamstrings. Another good way to keep stretching your hamstrings when you're in this pose is to really squeeze the fronts of your thighs and the fronts of your shins. The more you squeeze here, the more you'll open here. So keep doing that. And then we're gonna come up. Give your legs a shake, because I know we were there for a while, but that's good. We really need to have loose hamstrings. Tight hamstrings pull on the hips and make your back go into this rounded position. So you really want to be careful with that. So we're going to bend the knees and come down onto your, oh no, I lied, sorry, we're not bending the knees and coming down onto your back yet. Sorry. Bring your soles of your feet together, and we're just going to kind of bounce the knees a little bit here. Just getting a little bit of a dynamic stretch. And then we're going to take your hands behind you, open up your feet out nice and wide. Start with your hands back here. This is going to help you to lift up and create a flat back. Flex the feet, keep your butt sticking out behind you. If this is as far as you're going tonight, that's good. If you need to put a block underneath of your butt, put a block underneath of your butt. You can lift yourself up and it just makes it easier for your spine to stay straight while you get a nice stretch in your hips. Okay, so now that we're here, stay here or walk your hands forward, coming into a Upavista Konasana pose. So this is one of my favorite poses, but it took me a long time to get comfortable in this pose. So give yourself some space to kind of ease your way into this. Toes are pointing up. Now, if you have sciatic issues, I really, really want you to turn your toes, feel like you're turning your toes out and back. So a lot of times if we have sciatic issues and we're turning our feet in, it starts to really pull on that nerve. So you want to turn your feet out as much as possible. Now, if you want here to kind of reach over to one side and then back to the other side, you can do that nice and slow with the breath. So as you do this, you're going to start to open up all the different directions of the muscles So you might start to deepen into this pose a little bit more. Okay, and then come back to center. And start to walk your hands back. Nice. Okay. So it feels really good after you do any type of hip opening pose to just do a hip closing pose, basically. So just drape the right leg over the left, and we're just going to go side to side. Come back to center, and we'll switch sides. Left leg over the right. Nice. All right. So we're going to bend the knees and then just kick the knees over to the right side. So you want to have the left foot underneath of the right thigh here. Now, if you are working a more advanced practice, you have a lot of flexibility in your hips here, then you can take this left foot and bring it to the crook of the right hip. So if this causes discomfort, then take the foot and bring it underneath of you again. You're going to press both hips down as you twist to the left. So pull the belly button in, lift the belly button up, and then twist. Left hand comes to the ground behind you, somewhat close to your tailbone. If it can't reach the floor, don't dangle it back there and reach. I want you to place a block underneath of your left hand. But you're going to breathe here. Taking 2 more breaths. Come back to center, and then we'll switch sides. Now remember, when we do this, we're keeping the hips locked down. We're not twisting from the hips, we're twisting from the navel up, right? Okay, so you decide whether you want your foot underneath of your thigh or your foot on top of your thigh. So my advanced intermediate practitioners try this out, see how it feels. If you're lifting this left hip way, way, way up high, maybe just place that right foot back underneath of the left thigh. But do what feels good to you. Lift up tall, and then we're going to twist to the right. Right hand behind you, left hand to the outer right thigh. I'm going to be here for 3 more breaths. Back through center. Good. Take your legs, give them a good shake. Then we're going to come down onto our bellies and move all this stuff out of the way. All right. Palms down, elbows right underneath of the shoulders. Pull the chest forward, and this is our Sphinx pose. So our toes can be out towards the edge of the mat, and you're just pulling your heart forward. So here, a lot of times what happens in our back bending poses, our lumbar spine is the first part of the back that bends back. So we want to incorporate the rest of the spine so we're not really compressing our lumbar spine. So I want you to feel like you're pulling your chest forward and turning on your glute muscles. So squeeze your butt muscles. I know a lot of teachers will say to soften your glutes, but you really don't, because your legs are coming out wide. There's a whole bunch of reasons. Keep your butt muscles nice and tight here. Not overly tight. You're not trying to bounce a quarter off your butt cheeks, but you want them nice and tight here. Pull the chest forward. And then we're gonna just bring our head down, make a little pillow for your hands, or with your hands for your forehead, and just bring your hands onto your forehead with your legs about the width of your mat. This is crocodile pose. Just rest here, maybe rock the head side to side. Good. Keep doing that. And then we're going to come back into child's pose. Okay. So we're going to take our arms in front of us, knees out wide. Now, if you want, you can try this pose out. So this is called puppy pose, and you can turn this into whatever intensity you want. So our knees are going to be just a little bit wider than our hips, and you want to bring your toes toward each other, if that's comfortable. You don't have to have your toes toward each other. You can keep your feet parallel to one another. But you're going to tip your hips up and stretch your arms out in front of you. So you're going to drop your chin toward the floor. Now this is a really intense back bend, so you can just stay here if this feels good to you. If you're dropping your head down to the ground, you're reaching your arms forward, you're looking forward, and I want you to create space in your chest, space in your chin, by grabbing onto the mat and pressing it forward. And then come up. Good. And then we're just going to cow a little bit just to neutralize the spine there. Great. Now we're going to lie down like I said before. Before we come down, I want you to have your blocks or books. Set them up just like this, so one right in front of the other, long ways, and then your blanket on top. Now, if you have a really, really cranky back tonight and it just feels terrible, then you're gonna roll something up right underneath of the block that's gonna be closest to you. So you want like kind of like a wedge. If you have a wedge pillow, that would be great too. But what you're gonna do is bring the soles of the feet together, come into our bound angle pose, and then you're gonna lean back onto the blocks. Now this takes some kind of finagling to get right for your position, for your particular body, but you want your head supported, you want your lower back supported, and then your upper back supported. So get comfortable here. If this is excruciating, then you need to move something around because this feels really good to most people. Now again, if you've got spinal stenosis, I don't want you doing this back bend. I want you just to lie down on your back with your arms down by your sides. And just let your arms open, close your eyes. Now I don't do a ton of back bend poses when we are doing a class to relieve back pain because back bends are usually done incorrectly at first. It takes a long time to kind of figure out your spinal movement there. And a lot of times we just end up compressing our lower back rather than lengthening our spine and creating the effect that we want. So a couple mild back bends, a couple twists, and some core strengthening, and that will help your lower back. So really it's about keeping your hips stable. When you're twisting from your navel up. And it's about when you forward fold, not rounding at your spine at all. When you come up from a forward fold, always come up with a flat back. So just relax here. Close your eyes. They're not already. And bring your awareness to your breathing. In and out. Another 2 breaths here. And then we're going to slowly bring our hands underneath of the knees, gather the knees together, and then roll over onto one side into a fetal pose. And you're just going to take all of the props out from underneath of you. All right, so we're going to do some twisting from here. So starting from whatever side you're on, so I'm on my left side, I am going to keep my hips stacked one on top of each other. As I take my right arm up toward the sky, I'm going to look behind me and take my right hand toward the ground behind me. So once I start to feel my top knee draw back, that means my hips are starting to, they're starting to come apart. So I want to keep my hips stacked one on top of the other, and that's going to draw me out of the pose a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just take my block and bring it behind me. It is not essential for the back shoulder blade to touch the ground here. I'm not sure where that cue came from, but you'll hear it a lot in yoga class. It is not about twisting so much so that you're able to get your shoulder blade on the ground. It's about keeping your hips still and twisting from your upper back. A lot of us don't have that spinal flexibility yet, so we're twisting from the upper back, and this arm is not going to come all the way out behind you. For some of us, the arm might be up here, and that's okay. But make sure that your hips are stacked up, nice and tight. So you can even place a hand at your lower back to make sure that this top hip isn't drawing back. And look over the top shoulder. Good. Then we're going to come all the way back onto our back and do the same thing on the other side. So you can start all the way on your side. So I'm on my right side. My right arm is on the ground, palm facing up. And I'm going to take my left arm out behind me and reach my left arm maybe onto a block, left hand on a block, keeping my hips squared, twisting from the navel up. So continue to engage the core here. And then let's come back into center. Hug your knees into your chest. And then we're going to end the class with a happy baby pose. So you're going to bend the knees, soles of the feet are going to face up toward the ceiling. You're going to grab the outer edges of your feet as you pull the knees down towards your armpits. You can stay here or you can rock side to side. So if you guys are looking for more ways to alleviate back pain, check out my yoga for lower back pain video. It explores some more of these poses a little bit more in depth, so it's a little bit more specific. But in a class like this, we kind of move through the poses. Come back to center, hug your knees into your chest. And then we'll come into Shavasana. So go ahead and lie down on your mat. Find any comfortable position. If you want to grab a blanket or a pillow or whatever it is that's going to make you feel comfortable, go ahead and do that. But I want you to find a position that gives you stillness. So take the first few breaths here to sort of get, just settled into the pose, to find the position that works for you. And then I'm going to allow you just to be here in silence for a few moments, and then I will take you out of this pose in just a few moments. So don't think that I forgot, or the room is just silent because the video turned off. I'm going to take you guys out in just a couple minutes. So find some comfort, find some stillness. I am going to sit up while you guys get to enjoy your Shavasana. So if you found your stillness position, it's great. Start to release any type of yoga breathing that you're doing and just find a nice rhythmic breath to fall into. With your eyes closed, just start to bring your awareness from your skin. Let it sink down beneath your skin. Let your awareness float into your muscles, into your bones, into the bone marrow inside of the bones. And then just start to let that awareness shift into your consciousness. Being here, being still, being in silence. Begin to work movement back into your body with your breath, wiggling your fingers and toes. And allow that movement to shift its way all the way into your wrists and your ankles. And then start to bring your knees in toward your chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze. Take as much time as you need to do that. And then roll over finally onto your right side. And as you do this, coming into fetal pose, just take a moment to come back to life. Feel your body start to open up again. Feel yourself coming back with renewed breath, renewed energy. And then finally move your way into a comfortable seated position. Whatever that is for you. Once you're there, I invite you to bring your hands together in front of your heart and bow your head in a gesture to remind us of the connection between mind and body. Please go from here tonight with peace and inner strength. I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the place in you of love, of light, of peace, of truth. When you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, We are one. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. All right, guys, thank you so much. Sorry about all the mic issues. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, please post them in the comment section. Let me know what you want to see next week, what type of focus you want the class to be. I'm always open for suggestions, but I hope you guys have a great night. And if you haven't yet, make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you can, and then hit the like button, and then the bell next to the subscribe button so that you can get notified when I go live or post new content. So I really hope you guys have a great night, and thank you so much again. Namaste. Bye.